Oh, children. Somebody keep asking that. They say, why does he call us children? It's from, what is it, Mad Dog or City Dog? Ow! Three Dog? He's a guy from one of the Fallout video game series. All right, that's not what we're here to talk about. It's not. My point is, I am not saying children to be degrading. I'm saying it to quote that video game that I like very much, Fallout 4, 3, whatever it was. However, we are today going to be talking to the children, so we're going to keep it rather rated G because this is an important video and it needs to get out there. Because as parents always teach us, education is very important, but education really is important. That's assuming you get one. And the vast majority of people today are not getting one. I didn't get one. You learn most of your practical stuff outside of the classroom. And now that we've had the big flu come in, because we can't use that because then it doesn't get promoted. We can't use certain words here. Since everyone is in this, they're worried about the bug going around, and we've canceled school. Now everyone is freaking out. What do we do with the kids? How are we going to educate? The school is canceled. And what made me realize this video was required is I was talking to Dr. David Perodin, the guy who's like safetyphd.com. And he was talking about how the teachers don't have lessons plans. We don't have contingency plans. And, how do we teach online? You're in the middle of a class. I'm like, Doc, teaching ain't that hard. I know a lot of you teachers. It's harder than, no. You don't understand this. The kids, pay attention. I'm about to put your teachers in their place. Most teachers have never worked a real job in their life. Most of them haven't. Okay? They went okay. Hear me out, kids. This is for the kids. For once, this is for the kids because I actually do care about the children. Most of your teachers, not all of them, some, they went off and did other things. Most of your teachers from the age of 5 have never left school. They went in at kindergarten at 17. I want to help the children. And I want summers off, by the way. But I'm going to complain all the time, not getting paid too much. And then at 17, and then 18, they graduate from high school. They immediately go to school again to get a degree in education, to go back to where? School, to teach. They're just on the other side of the podium now. They're the ones standing up. And I've always found it amazing because I substitute taught. I taught economics and statistics and other things even in college. It's not that hard. Here's the topics. Here's our lesson plan. We're going to go through it. And to have, I could see maybe in the olden days, if the internet didn't work, there'd be a problem. But we have the perfect tool by which you can still teach your students from home. Okay. Now, hey, who's with me on this one? Hey, kids, do you want to wake up at 6 a.m. and stand out in the cold and wait for the big block of orange cheese to come pick you up? And then an hour and a half, you finally get to school. And then another hour and a half of your life is gone as the big block of cheese picks you all up and drives you back home. And when Doc, I love Doc. I love him. He's a great man. He's a better man than me. But he's like, they're not prepared for this. Can't you make a move? Can't you hustle? Can't you adapt? If only there was a way. Everyone's at home. If only there was a way for teachers to teach and convey this information to their students somehow. And I guess because that doesn't follow the rules or the bureaucracy or whatever, a lot of you kids are getting like a month-long snow day here, which is pretty cool. And I can see, because I know I didn't like school. Nobody really liked school except for the weirdo kids, because the teachers and admin are like hopeless. They can't just say, I don't have a master's degree in education, but if it was me, I'd say, all right, I'm setting up Mr. Clary's Classroom. I go get the YouTube channel. I'd set up Mr. Clary's Classroom. Okay, kids, last day of school here. Go to Mr. Clary's Classroom. Put the YouTubes up. I'm going to have the lessons. And if only there was a way you could digitally send me documents in your homework, like maybe you could attach them to some form of communication so I could get your paper. And then, I don't know, do they do grades online? So when you see the schools and the teachers and the admin, they're just turtles on their backs. What do we do? It dawned on me that now is the ideal time with this sickness going around in the air, and you kids forced to be going home, and you're not going to get any education. Now's the perfect time to point out something, and let's have a real interesting. I hate to use conversation, but we got to point out something, and that is you haven't been getting an education at all. And what I'm going to do is try to open up your minds because education is important. So for whatever you kids are listening, I'm not going to start teaching that. I'm not your teacher. I'm just going to point out something about education, okay? And give you guys an opportunity to make it so your life is better than your elders. That your life is better than mine. Your life is better than your older brothers. Your life is better than your parents. Because what we call education is not education. It's basically babysitting, as you're finding out, because parents are freaking out. What do we do with our kids? I just had them. I didn't want to raise them. The sky is falling. So here's the deal. Number one, you kids are not getting an education in the public schools. You're not. Oh, yes, you're getting reading, writing, and arithmetic. I know. A little bit of geography and history. But by and large, school has two ulterior motives. And that is one, look outside. Look at it's so that your parents don't have to deal with you. It's a huge babysitting operation. All right. Yes, some education takes place, but the primary thing is, hey, we don't want to deal with you. Have the state raise you and take care of you. State meaning the schools. All right, so that's one of the ulterior motives. Another one, teachers just want to make money. You know, the girl or the guy that went to school at 5 and has never left and is now 25. They just want to teach, right? And that's why they didn't go out and get life experience. They didn't become an actuary or a military man or a mechanic or an engineer. Every great once in a while, you'll find a teacher that actually has some real world private sector experience and brings that to the school to share with you kids. That's very good. I had a Spanish teacher like that, even though it was Spanish, but he wasn't just a teacher. The guy had set foot out of school. But for most people, they never wanted to leave. They never wanted to work in the real world. That's why they're teachers. This is what they're saying. Those who can't do, teach. And so you're getting really low grade education, if you can call it that. More often than not, political propaganda. I don't want to go down that route. But you're not getting an education. And the reason you could tell you're not getting an education is because you're falling asleep in class, which has been the case throughout history of all schools. And I know this sounds counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense to you. But education should not be fun, but it should be interesting. It should be a word called germane. It should be relevant. I can't talk. I'll point out this. Let me show you if you have an investment, if it's germane, if it's relevant to you, why, then all of a sudden you'll get educated real quick. Let me show you the mundane rote rehearsal, facts and figures doesn't do it. You got to attach the why. You got to give an incentive, a reason for the kid to get up in the morning and pay attention in class. And since they don't put a reason, this is why you all fall asleep in class. But that's going to change now with everything being on the internet. I have a colleague, we'll say. He went and worked in the oil fields, the Bakken oil fields in the oil boom 4 or 5 years ago. He got the job because he's a very skilled tradesman. That's what he does, the drilling and piping and all that kind of stuff. So he went out there, made, $100,000 a year. Man camp, all that. Very interesting. Then he gets back, oil boom busts. He's got to find another job. And while he was a brilliant tradesman, he knew nothing of computers. Nothing. And he's like, I got to find a job. I'm like, well, try Indeed.com or Monster.com or some website.com, because search on there. And he was totally, he's like, I'm finding our jobs in Dallas, Texas. I'm like, what? I looked, you have your zip code set to Dallas, Texas. Oh, I got to change that? I'm like, yes, change it to Minnesota. Oh, well, all these jobs, none of them have to do with my field. I mean, we're talking really dumb. I'm like, He's getting secretaries and this, and he didn't type in what type of job or select a field or an industry. He knew nothing. And so after trying to help him out for 30 minutes, I just realized he was hopeless. He wasn't good. I'm like, dude, you got to think this through. See all these fields. I got to fill in all that? Yeah. How does the computer know where to search jobs for you? So he gave up. He found a job through a buddy. All right, old school analog days. And I thought, oh, this guy's never going to figure out computers in his life. That is until he discovered dating apps. I won't mention which one because I'm sure it'll get demonetized and we want it. So, but it's not Tinder, but we changed the E to an I. And he mastered that in 5 minutes flat. Why? Because there was girls and tail at the end. That's why. He mastered that in half a second. Had dates lined up. He knew what a zip code was then. He figured it out. And that's the difference between propaganda, boring garbage you're learning in school, and an education. An education has your vested interest, long-term interests and goals at heart. It's, hey, you need to learn this because this will teach you this and this will get you this. And no teachers do that. None of them. Very few. Very few. And so now you kids are faced with an interesting crossroads, I would say, opportunity. You're not stuck at school no more. It is a nice month-long snow day I hope you all get because there's nothing better than snow days. But what I'm going to argue, the case I'm going to make, is that you weren't really learning much of anything in school anyway. All right? You're not getting a real education. And while you have this month off or 2 weeks off or whatever, and I know you want to go and play and do your video games and all that, what I need you to do is just entertain me once. Just give this a shot. Why don't you go on the internet and search a documentary on anything you like? You could convert it to an MP3, put it on your smartphone, go run around, play, do whatever. I just want you to look up something on YouTube that is of interest to you and watch it. And what you're probably going to find out is because you have an intellectual interest in it, you're going to, otherwise it'd be a boring documentary just the same. But everybody has their own unique interest. You might be a nice young lady who has an interest in music. May I strongly recommend all of you look up Victor Borge then. Right there, if you go on YouTube, you search Victor Borge, B-O-R-G-E, I will have gotten you more interested in music than all the music teachers currently teaching in America combined right now. Well, maybe not that much. It might be one or two good ones again, but it's like A, B, C, D, play, there's your chords, play them, all right? Try Victor Borge. Those of you who are interested in physics, why don't you watch an episode of How the Universe Works? Okay, just one. For those of you, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something else because actuarial science ain't exactly all that interesting. For those of you interested in math and finance, why don't you go see what's happening on the stock market? Just watch a documentary. Here's one. What was it? How the Economy Works? How the stock market, hang on, let me look this up. I got to look this up. How the stock market works video. It's this old like 1930s cartoon. How the stock exchange works cartoon. How the stock market works YouTube. Here, I'm going to put this up. I'll put this in the links. This is just a cute little. I remember this. Okay, yeah, here it is. This is called How the Stock Market Works by Income Investor. Let me put that in the comment section there. So yeah, all right. All you got, I just want you to watch one. Okay, I'm not saying binge. Just watch one. Download one. Convert to an MP3, and then you tell me if you didn't learn more in that 15 minutes, hour, or whatever you invest into this little experiment of mine than you did an entire day at school, an entire week at school. And what you'll see is that hey, not only you're not learning much in school. The education you get is boring because we got that's another thing. We got to boil it down to the lowest common denominator. You can't go faster than the dumbest kid in school. Heaven forbid, no. We all got to slow down. And what you're going to find out very quickly is that you don't need your teachers. You don't need to go to this Prison. That's what it is. School is a prison. Hop on the big piece of rectangular cheese, spend an hour of your life going to the big prison facility, sit there, wake up, dreary, drudgy. Oh, by the way, you have homework to do when you get home. Hop back on that big rectangular piece of cheese, waste another hour going back. Why isn't your homework done? Because you're so bored and the life has been sucked out of you because you were sitting in prison when it was sunny and beautiful outside. You can, let's say you could learn more just on saving the time of not commuting to a school alone. In the 2 hours round trip that it takes you to ride the bus to and from school, if you spent that every day on the internet learning, now I know you're not going to purposely search this out, algebra, geometry, U.S. history. History's great. You want to know how to become a master at history? You just download. Do you know how many amazing historians, true historians, are out there on the internet doing, hey, this is how British history was going down in the 1200s. Oh, the Egyptians did this. Look out. It's the Mesopotamians. Hey, it's the Assyrians. Oh, the Mali Empire. That's an amazing. Here's another thing after you're all done looking up Victor Borga. Everybody go study the salt trade of the Mali Empire. You'll be amazed. You'll be like, what? I'm not your regular teacher. I'm not a teacher. I'm a normal guy. I've worked in the real world. You want to be interested? You want to be intrigued? You want your brain a little bit fired up? Everybody go study the Mali Empire and the salt trade they had with the Egyptians. Pound to pound, salt for gold. That's how valuable salt was back in the day. Why was salt valuable? Study economics. Maybe you find out some interesting stuff. The history of money. That's another thing to go look up. It spreads like something spreading right now in the air that we can't mention because it's a forbidden word. And in a fraction of the time, without even having to go to the prison called a school, euphemistically called a school, you'll teach yourself more. You'll become more invested. You'll be better at history, if you can even grade such a thing. I find that hilarious. How good are you at history? I don't know. Is it dates? Is it really dates? Is it learning from the mistakes humans have made in the past? Is that kind of more the important thing? You can teach yourself. You don't need to go to school. You say, well, yeah, I know it's according to the law. Yes, I know it's according to the law, but there's some ways around it. It depends on the state you're in. So here's another thing. I know in Minnesota, there's an online high school you can attend. All right. Now, because here's the thing, you got to graduate according to the standards that the state and all these people with their doctorates and education, who, by the way, again, never set foot in the real world. They'd have never left school. All they know is the prison from kindergarten to 50. I have my doctorate and fifth and seventh grade education. What about sixth grade? No, just fifth and seventh grade. I wrote my thesis on it. These morons are the ones that are in charge. And they have the requirements. We got to take the test. You got to take you can download the test. You can study for the test. But you have online education options to get yourself a high school diploma. Here's something parents and people are going to hate. But in the long term, why do you have to go to high school? Why don't you just go get your GED? Look, you can always go back. Try get your GED at 14. Some states don't allow you to. You got to wait till you're 16 or something because they want you to show up because they get the money, not to get conspiratorial. But is high school, do you want to skip 4 years of the big rectangular block of cheese, 2 hours round trip, sitting in prison, watching people blather on who've never set foot outside in the real world? Or would you just rather, hey, take my GED, and you know what you can do with your GED? You could start working if you wanted to, or you could apply for college. Yep. You don't need to be a high school graduate. There are programs. Now you got to start community college. You might have to take some remedial stuff. But it's gotten so bad, guys, that you could, again, it's state by state, different rules, different state. Don't quote me on it. This is not universal. But look into it. You might be able to get your GED at 14 or 15. Avoid high school. Go to an online college that's accredited like Western Governors University. By the time you're 18 or 19, hey, you got a degree. You're done. I know some place, again, state by state, Michigan, at one time, as long as you were in high school, you could attend college for free. And so what a couple kids I knew were kids, they're adults now. They were like 19 to 20. Oh yeah, I failed high school again. I got to go back. And they're going online anyway. But they got free college education. A lot of states, you don't have to be an 18-year-old high school graduate to attend. Western Governors University, check them out. See if they'll accept you. ASU online, Arizona State University online. Check that out. Check out your local if you're in state. Usually there's some kind of program to get you in, maybe at a discount rate. You don't have to go to prison every day on a work release program on the big rectangular piece of cheese to go have people tell you stuff you can look up for a fraction of the time on the internet. And another thing with the internet is one teacher can teach everybody. This you've seen in Korea, South Korea, not North Korea, South Korea, where I think there's like a tutor who does math and he's made millions because he's simply just the best math teacher out there. I don't know if he's made millions because of the individual students he teaches or because he's on the internet, but he is the best at conveying how math works to people. And just because I'm watching his video doesn't mean I'm taking up a seat in a finite classroom with only 30 seats. He can teach. Maybe it's a gal. Maybe it was a gal that was teaching it. Whatever. This person can teach. They can do all the math teaching in the world, as long as you speak Korean. You don't need someone who got their C minus 2.5 GPA, mailed it in education degree, teaching you from the book because he or she doesn't know the material themselves. You got way better teachers online. Heck, if you want to find economics, you might even be able to see some of my old economics seminar. I'm way better teacher than your average high school education or high school economics teacher, but way better than your average economics professor. I'm not even teaching. Oh, he doesn't have a degree. He doesn't have his license. He can't be a teacher. No, really? Because that GED and testing out of classes and just going straight to college says I can. Doesn't matter how you get the education, guys. Doesn't matter how you get the skills. As long as you get them, I passed this test. I jumped through the hoop like a monkey. Do I get my diploma now? Do I get my GED? Now I could go to college, which, by the way, is the same thing as high school. Maybe you'll last 2 years if you're majoring in STEM or engineering or accounting or something. Then you'll go on. But why bleep around with the horse and pony show of high school, even middle school, if you got the brains? Why be anchored to the weakest link, the dumbest kid in your class, because he's playing poop and fart jokes and delaying? Why even go to school at all? And now you have the opportunity with the thing floating around in the air, closing down the schools, where, yes, I know you're going to want to go and play video games. You're going to go and want to go sledding. You're going to want to go and chase girls and let the guys chase you. I get it. But that's not going to put food on the table. That's not going to help you out long term. And what I think, I'm not telling you what to do forever. Just try it one time, guys. For every young kid out there listening, just give it this shot. Study Victor Borge. Study the Mali Empire and the salt trade. Here's another one. You want history? You want something really interesting? Look up how Cortez took over the Aztecs. Well, killed them all, frankly. I don't know why I haven't made a movie of that. That is an amazing story. Amazing. There's a podcast called The History of Mexico. This guy did a brilliant job and then he stopped. And it's 6 or 7 episodes. It starts with Cortez coming from Hispaniola to mainland Mexico. Well, it wasn't Mexico back then. It was the Aztecs. What did they call that? Mesoamerica. Just try one documentary of your interest and see if you don't learn something from the internet at a fraction of the cost, a fraction of the time, and no pain. That would be the other thing. Your teacher does not have a monopoly on how the information and the education is conveyed. It's like, oh, well, I got to get my calcium. And the way we do it with schools is like, okay, we're going to take this syringe with a needle this big and it's rusty and jagged. We're going to poke you a million times and then maybe we'll get some calcium into you. That's how we're trying to convey information now. I'm saying, hey, look, it's free and it's on the internet. That's like eating ice cream. Here's your calcium. Yeah, put some chocolate sauce on it, whatever. Watch some Victor Borga. What I think you're going to find is, even though we're running for cover and the world's ending tomorrow, yes, you have your month off. Yes, you have the month-long snow day. But if you do this now, what I think you'll do is not only will you not fall behind in your studies, I think you will truly set yourself free, saving yourself years of education. If you find out you can teach yourself online, take the tests at the state and get your certification, your diploma, and then go to college or trade school, or, well, you can't go in the military until you're 17, I think. You don't have to go the speed of school. You don't need your teachers. You got the internet. Hey, I taught myself how to become a mechanic watching YouTube videos. You can do the same. Is your dad working on the car? Dad, you need some, does the car need work? Well, we can't do anything. Let's learn how to, I don't know, put in a new head gasket. Let's go to O'Reilly's. Look it up on the internet. That will teach you more than what a dangling part. Do they still do that? We're breaking down sentences and we diagram them, and here's the thing, and there's the subject and the predicate noun and the noun predicate, and you're never going to use that. Never. You will, however, have to change oil in a car. You will probably have a head gasket go one of these days. You will have to do basic stuff like, well, I don't know, change the air filter, very simple stuff like that. You have an opportunity for once, in spite of the high K through 12 education, to actually learn something that's going to be of benefit and value. And so your education is not going to be painful. It'll have use, practicality, and utility. And once you get that bite, this is what I'm trying to aim for. This is my goal. Is just, I don't need teachers ever again. All the information out of the world is on this thing called the information superhighway. I mean, it's there. I don't need to take an hour-long bus ride to the prison to have Mr. Johnson teach me how calculus works. It's there for free on the internet. And you can test out if your state has a state high school. You could take your GED. You could go to, you don't even have to go to a physical college. You don't have to go $150,000 in debt. You go to Western Governors. You go to ASU. There's other places that have online colleges. You don't have to commute. You're not polluting the environment. You're not dealing with traffic. You just you wake up, get your coffee, your pajamas. What are we learning today? Pinky, same thing we do every night, brain. Try to get an education for free. And so now, it's not going to, guys, it's not, you're never going to have this opportunity again. Never. Even the adults, they got their own problems to deal with, corporate employers. How do we know you're working if we can't see you? You're not the only one that's got to get on a bus and suffer an hour one-way commute. Your folks got to do that too. For decades, we've been saying, look, unless it's a physical trade or you got to be like you're a chef or a barista or something like that, if it's done on the computer, we don't have to go to, how do I know you're working if I can't see you? And your parents now have an opportunity to tell employers to go take a hike off a short plank over shark-infested water, saying, no, we're not commuting anymore, not unless we absolutely have to. You got this one time, and it's exposing to all of you what is absolutely not necessary in society anymore, and teachers aren't necessary. Well, you'll need that spectacular teacher in each respective field, like that guy or gal out in Korea. What is it? Time Ghost History. That's another one. If you guys like it, I've been binging on history because there's not much else to listen to. Time Ghost. Kings and Generals is another one I like. If you guys are looking for that. It's all free. It's all free. All right. And it doesn't come with some 48-year-old school marm attaching all of her requirements and all this boring homework and holding you hostage for 45 minutes every day as you just sit there. Yeah, appomattox score. Well, yeah. You're a bad student. You don't know how to. No, you're boring, lady. Tell us something interesting. So there you go. Set yourself free. That's all I want to say. Just be free, guys. Take this opportunity. Because if you realize you could, let's say school's shut down for 6 months, you could all learn how to code. You don't even have to go to school or college anymore. You just go program. Hey, what? Travel restrictions off? I got some gigs for $30 an hour. I'm off to Thailand. I'm off to a beach. How old am I? 16? Yeah, I'm out of here. Goodbye. Can't drink, but I'm going to a beach somewhere. Make more than your parents. That's the thing, is you can make more than your parents. Did we have any super chats? No, we did. Not a lot. Oh, we did have some. So anyway, kids, I got links to stuff down below. While we're here, I don't know where to go. I'm gonna show you 2 important books, okay, guys? Then we'll go on to super chats. All right, here. Worthless. The Young Person's Indispensable Guide to Choosing the Right Major, right? Guys, while you're at home, stuck there, why don't you research? Get that book and read it. That I guess would be the most direct route. But why don't you research which degrees pay and which ones don't? Okay? Follow your heart and the money will follow. That's a lie. Okay? Teachers telling you that's a lie. Okay? Sorry about that, but it's a lie. Another one. This is a book by Vince Barrick, How Not to Become a Millennial. And you may say, oh, that's pretty harsh. And no, it's actually quite pro-millennial. But what we've done, it's a big book, taken the millennial generation and looked at, they got debts, they can't find jobs, they have degrees they're not using, and it tells you how to avoid every pitfall and mistake they made. And as you can see, there's a lot of them. This would probably be a very good book for you to read if you're bored and you like it. Coming out in audiobook so you can still run around and play. So there you go. You don't need your teachers anymore. You don't. Use this opportunity to learn that, because once college is over, you're not going to have teachers anymore. You got to teach yourself. You're going to realize you could have been teaching yourself this entire time. You just need the discipline. And if you have that discipline, you don't have to commute. 2 hours of your life are not wasted every day. What is that? 12.5% of your life isn't piddled away on the bus. And not to mention half the time in school is not wasted either. It's done. Nimble Fred for $5. My sister, who's pushing 50, says she's going back to school to become a teacher. Because she loves, well, she'll at least bring real world working experience in. You got to give her that much. Axel Morales, Cappy, my current employer won't let me work from home despite the current situation in the world. Who happens to be a boomer? Any comments? Boomer's going to boom, of course. Well, you're surprised? Axel, the solution. You know the solution, Axel. A solution, Axel. You go get another job offer. Well, maybe not in these conditions. Ice Nose for $5. Wyoming is preparing for coronavirus really well. Stores in Laramie and Cheyenne are selling out of a protective device used for copulation. Is that it? Is that all the super chat? Oh, here's one more. We can't mention this, but my mom is now forcing me to get caught up with work that I didn't do for a semester. She is upset because all the schools are closed in my area. Well, why is she upset? Now she has to deal with you? Be nice to your folks here too. I mean, let's be honest. Your parents got to worry about a lot of stuff right now. So go home, do your studies, be good kids, help out at the house. Oh, did the Dow just close 3,000 lower? Oh, I should buy more. That it. There we go. All right. Questions, answers, everything down below. You can go to my channel or my website, olderbrother.com. I have another website that I can't mention here because it's not rated G. And it's not that kind of website either. It's the name has a naughty word in it. The books I mentioned are more valuable than the education you've gotten K through 8. I'd argue K through 12, but you do learn a couple things in high school. Get those books, kids. Get them and read them and take advantage of this opportunity. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, links to everything down below. Search my name. You'll find my consultancy. We'll talk to you kids later. Toodles.